Hello everybody, and guess what game we're about to let's play? We're about to let's play Doom. My name is William, and I am a software developer, and this is my first let's play, so I may make a few mistakes along the way. I'm not the best video gamer in the world either, so we're gonna see how that goes. But I wanted to let's play this game because I know a little bit about how the game is designed and how it was built, so we can discuss that. And it's kind of interesting too. So let's go ahead and jump in a little bit, and we'll talk about the story behind the game, and then we'll get into the actual gameplay itself. So we're going to go ahead and do a new game, and we're going to play Knee Deep in the Dead, and we're going to play Ultraviolence. There's different skill levels here. Ultraviolence is the most difficult one outside of Nightmare. They're the same number of enemies for Nightmare and Ultraviolence, but Nightmare means that the enemies respawn after a number of time. We're going to be doing Ultraviolence simply because I would like to be able to go back into the level, find all the secrets, show off some interesting things that I found, and all that fun stuff. And plus, it gives me a chance to take my time after everything is done and not have to be hounded by monsters coming back and respawning and wasting everybody's time, including mine. So, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, let's get started. Now, we are on the moon of Mars called Phobos, and we are on the base of Phobos, and the premise of this game is that monsters have come out from hell, and we've got to figure out what's going on and kill all the monsters all the way and try to figure out why hell is respawning on Mars. So, or actually the moons of Mars, and then we'll get to there eventually, probably. But I'm not going to spoil that for you. We may even end up somewhere else. We don't know. We're going to have to find out and see how the game goes. So, we've got a pretty basic movement here. You can go look around here. I've got ZDoom here, so I can use the mouse and the WASD key, so I can move around and strafe and all that fun stuff. We've got only a pistol right now. We've got a little bit of health. We've got 50 ammo. My dog says hi, by the way. And this is it. This is what we start off with. We got this ominous looking room where can't go back. We can't open that door, but we can go forward. So let's go over here and let's take a look around the corner, and we see our first enemies. These guys are former human sergeants, and these guys have shotguns. Shotguns are terrible, terrible, terrible long-range weapons, but they're very good in short range. And short-range weapons, like the shotgun, if you're close to them, they will kill you. So if you can, keep your distance to the shotgun people, and if you're going to get them, go in, get them, and get out. And get it done. Now we see this little green thing over here. This is armor. Watch our armor. 2%, 100%. The green armor takes you up to 100%. And we'll get to a blue one later that takes us up to 200%. Armor just means that the rate of your health is going to be depleted a little slower if you get hit by enemies. Let's take a look at the design a little bit. Now, you see here this scrolling thing here. That was kind of new to this version, or this engine. This engine was heavily modified from Wolfenstein 3D, and Wolfenstein 3D was a very blocky game. The game, if you can look at the map here, you'll see the polygons and the line depths are all sorts of different directions. Well, if you remember Wolfenstein 3D, everything was on a 64 by 64 grid, a 64 unit by 64 unit grid. Every square was 64 units, I believe it was, or maybe it was 128, but it was a multiple of 64. Here, the new features of Doom were that the main feature was that floor heights and ceiling heights could be different. Now you see here we got a floor height and ceiling heights that are different. We've got windows here. Another difference is we've got non-orthogonal walls, which means that the walls can be at any angle besides 90 degrees. But there are other limitations, though, and this was 1993, so that's the way it was. The other limitations are that this is technically a 2.5-dimensional game or 2D game because you can't overlap sectors at all. Once this sector ends, that sector begins. A sector just means it's basically a polygon on the map. A sector means that it's surrounded by lines, which are called line defs. Or line definitions, and line definitions have two sides. You can't see the two sides here because this line def is technically invisible because it has an upper definition, upper texture, and then you've got the floor texture here. But you'll see here this line def that joins this vertex with this vertex. You've got a lower texture and an upper texture up here, but you can see at any given point it's two-dimensional. No sectors overlap. Another interesting thing about the game, look at the outside texture. It actually wraps with the viewer. This outside texture, this mountain-looking thing, that's actually depends on the episode that you play. So that will change for the next episode, but that won't change for the next level. Another problem with this game, or not problem, limitation, is not everything is three-dimensional. Take a look at this sprite. It moves around with you. So that's not a three-dimensional sprite. Some sprites have 8 different directions to it. This one only has 1. Limitations of the game, limitations of memory, all that fun stuff. That's why that was done that way. If you look over here, there's enemies over here that we're going to get to later, and I'm moving around because these guys have pistols, and the pistols have great range and great accuracy, so move around, don't get hit by those guys. So let's keep going. Now, let's go ahead and shoot these guys. Remember, the shotgun has terrible long range, but even still already got 5% down. And remember, this is Doom. They like to ambush you. So remember around corners. And I'm playing abysmally, horribly, badly here, and that's not even English, but remember, shotguns are terrible at long range, but bad at, they're bad for you. Let me repeat that. Shotguns are terrible long-range weapons, but they're great short-range weapons. And we'll have another guy probably sneak up here. See how good it is at short range. So keep that in mind. We're at 49% health, which isn't very good. My aim isn't very good today, but let's go ahead and take care of these guys. Now these guys up here, imps, these guys can shoot fireballs at you. Imps you'd usually find in turrets or something like that, long ranges, because they've got fireballs and all of that stuff. So avoid the fireballs, they're easy to avoid. That's pretty much what you got to do with this. Until they come down and scratch you, or come down and actually make contact with you, then it's a problem. Take a look at the sectors here. This is 128. I believe this is 128, 128. This is a different color. Gee, I wonder what this could mean. Well, you remember we could try to open doors, right? Well, I don't know if we've gotten there yet. Yes, we have, actually. We have opened a door. Well, let's try to open this. Aha! It's a door. It's a secret. So let's go ahead and kill out the guys in here. Let's get some health, ammo, shells. Good to know. Now we're at 66% health. Now look at our armor. 84%, 200%. The armor, if you get the blue jacket right there, it takes you up to 200% regardless of what your armor is. There are other upgrades that take your health up to 100% or 200%. And we'll get to those later. But armor, regardless, if you see the green flak jacket, it'll take you to 100%. Blue will take you to 200%. So they're always good to get. This sector here will actually take off some health, so I'm not going to walk through it. But there are 2 or 3 different sector types that actually take off health at different rates. I think there's one rate actually in the 3rd level of this episode that takes it off at an obscenely high rate, just because you're liable to fall in there. Once you fall in there, you're probably going to be dead anyway, so they want to kill you in a hurry. We'll get to that later, though, if I can remember. So we've got one more door here, right? Let's open it up. Ambush! So let's take care of that guy. And let's take a look at here. We've got these barrels here, right? Let's shoot them out. What happened? What happens with the barrels is if you shoot them, they explode, which means it's bad for the enemies, but can also be bad for you. So if you see the barrel, do not shoot it if you're at close range, because that will positively kill you. And I might even show that off later, but we'll take a look at this later. I'll take a look at that stuff later. Here's the exit. So we're about done with this game, right? So I guess everything's done, right? Surprise! We're not done yet. Look how easy it is to dodge a fireball. So there's no excuse to be hit by the fireball unless you're in close quarters. So we're at the exit, right? Is that it? Well, let's take a look at the map. And I'm using the ZDoom port. So it says 28 monsters are done out of 28. Well, that means there's a monster somewhere that we missed. Where could it possibly be? Well, there's some areas that we haven't visited yet. And also it says secrets is 1 out of 3. This orange sector in the ZDoom port just means it's a secret sector. So we've had 1 secret found out of all of them. So let's take a look at this. We could exit the game, but I said I was going to hit all the secrets. So let's try to hit the secrets. Let's take a look at the door, actually. Door goes up, door goes down. Door goes up, door goes down. You'll take a look at the door. It's basically a sector that has a ceiling that rises and a ceiling that lowers. Ceiling that rises, ceiling that lowers. Ceiling that rises, door goes up, door goes down. Door goes up, door goes down. Can't explain that, can you? Now you've got 16 pixels here, 16 pixels here, 16 pixels here. This is just a right texture, left texture. This is a door track texture that I believe wraps at 8 pixels, so you'll find this texture a lot. The good thing I like about Knee Deep in the Dead is that they did a really good job with the textures. You see there's a break in the textures, there's a door track texture, there's a light texture, and they filled out the whole texture. And you can see if they didn't, it would probably look a little weird because this sector would not join up with this door. So they did a good job with that. A lot of WADs that came out, the early WADs, they didn't do a very good job with textures. But there's one WAD that I'd like to do a Let's Play of later called Return to Phobos. That was done by Michael Kesley, or Kesley I think his name was. I would love to do that later, but we can talk about that later. Level design. Now, let's try to run over here and let's see what happens. Aha! There's a thing here, but there's a guy here, so let's kill him. We found a secret. Aha! Well, the thing is that you run back to that certain point and run back as fast as you can, and that lift will lower it for you. But then it will raise back up again, and you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the level to try to lower that again. So let's go ahead and get this secret sector, get some health, and shotgun shells. And I believe we're about ready to finish this level. So let's go ahead and open this up. Open this up. And that's about it. So thanks for watching the first level. We finished this level in a pretty decent time for all of these secrets, and I talked about some extra stuff. The future levels may go a lot faster, but we'll see. Some levels are pretty large, so let's see how well we did. Okay, the hangar is finished. We had 100 kills, 100% kills, and 100% secrets. Our bar time is going to be abysmal. And bar time just means flying through the level. You don't get all the items, all the secrets, excuse me, and all of that fun stuff. And also sometimes I emit bodily sounds. You're just going to have to deal with that, but I'll try to hold it back as much as possible. And that finishes the first level, Hangar. So, thank you for watching, and hopefully I can get out the next episode soon. Thank you. Goodbye.